Life has a funny way of working out, doesn't it? We make all these grand plans, we set goals and dream big dreams, convinced that we know exactly what we need to be happy and fulfilled. But more often than not, the universe has something else in store for us entirely. Something better than we ever could have imagined or planned for ourselves. I've experienced this truth firsthand many times throughout my life. When I was younger, I was sure I had it all figured out. I knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, who I wanted to marry, where I wanted to live. I had a detailed roadmap all laid out, but you know what? Almost none of it worked out the way I expected. At first, when my plan started unraveling, I was frustrated and discouraged. I couldn't understand why things weren't going my way, even though I was working so hard and wanted it so badly. But eventually, I came to realize that there was a higher wisdom at work, a grander design that I couldn't see from my limited vantage point. What I thought were detours and dead ends were actually launching me towards something far greater than I had envisioned. You see, we all have an inner compass, an innate sense of what feels right and true for us. But sometimes that inner knowing gets drowned out by the noise of the world, by other people's opinions and expectations, by our own ego and ambition. We start chasing things that we think will make us happy, that society tells us we should want, rather than listening to the wise whispers of our own heart. But when we find the courage to let go of our tight grip on our plans, to surrender our agenda and trust in the journey, miracles start to unfold. Doors open that we never even knew existed. Opportunities arise that we couldn't have orchestrated if we tried. We find ourselves living a life beyond our wildest dreams, one more vibrant and fulfilling than anything we could have mapped out with our logical minds. I've seen this play out in my own life in incredible ways. Years ago, I had my heart set on a particular career path. I'd invested tons of time and energy into pursuing it, and I was convinced it was my true calling. But no matter how hard I tried, I kept hitting wall after wall. It got to the point where I was so burnt out and disillusioned that I wanted to give up entirely. But then, out of the blue, a new possibility appeared. It was something I had never considered before, something that hadn't even been on my radar. At first I resisted it. It didn't fit into my carefully crafted plans. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized that it resonated with my deepest values and desires in a way my original path never had. So I took a leap of faith and followed this new road. And you know what? It led me to a level of joy, meaning, and abundance I never could have imagined. Looking back, I see how the universe was guiding me all along, leading me through the frustration and failure to something infinitely better suited to my true self. If I had stubbornly clung to my old vision, I would have missed out on the extraordinary gifts that were waiting for me. So what I've learned is this: our plans are so small compared to what's possible for us. We limit ourselves based on what we think we're capable of, on what we believe is available to us. But the truth is, the universe is conspiring in our favor in ways we can't even fathom. It has dreams for us that are wilder and more wonderful than anything we've dared to dream for ourselves. This doesn't mean we shouldn't make plans or set intentions. Those are important tools for shaping our lives. But it's equally important to hold those plans loosely, to stay open and flexible, and willing to pivot when a higher plan reveals itself. Because it will. Again and again, life will surprise us with miracles and marvels beyond our limited imaginings. The key is learning to trust the journey, even and especially when it diverges from the route we thought we wanted to travel. Every obstacle, every redirection, every seeming failure is an invitation to expand our vision, to dream a bigger dream. Our challenges aren't punishment or proof that we're on the wrong path. They're course corrections guiding us to something greater. Now, I know this isn't always an easy truth to embrace, especially when we're in the thick of disappointment and things aren't going the way we hoped. It takes tremendous courage and faith to release our grip on what we think we need and want. The ego clings so tightly to its agendas and perceived security, but clinging is what keeps us stuck. It's only in letting go and surrendering our small self's plans that we open to the limitless possibilities waiting for us. So how do we do this? How do we learn to trust the unfolding of our lives, to discern the divine detours? It starts with developing a direct, intimate relationship with the wisdom and creativity that lies within us. Call it intuition, call it your higher self, call it the universe, whatever resonates for you. But we all have access to an inner knowing that is constantly broadcasting to us through feelings, insights, synchronicities, and mysterious pulls toward things that light us up. The more we attune to this inner guidance and act on its nudges, the louder and clearer it gets. We start to recognize the difference between the voice of our ego, which is rooted in fear and scarcity and always needs to be in control, and the voice of our essential self, which is infinitely loving and abundant and trusts implicitly in the perfect unfolding of our lives. It takes practice to hone this discernment. The ego's voice can be so insistent, so convincing, but slowly, as we choose again and again to listen to our deeper wisdom, we start to develop an unshakable trust in the journey. We understand on a bone-deep level that we're held, that everything is conspiring for our greatest good, even and especially when it doesn't look like what we thought we wanted. From this place of surrendered trust, magic happens, relationships blossom, creativity flows, opportunities materialize out of thin air. Our work in the world takes on an ease and a sense of purpose beyond what we'd imagined possible. We find ourselves living in the miracle, marveling at the impossible beauty of it all. I've experienced this so many times in so many areas of my life. I've watched in awe as the most painful, perplexing moments ultimately revealed themselves as portals to a richer, more authentic way of being. I've been humbled again and again by the brilliant choreography of the cosmos, the way it weaves together the brokenness into breathtaking tapestries of healing and grace. And I've come to understand that this isn't just some new age platitude, some feel-good delusion to help us cope with life's hardships. It's a fundamental truth woven into the very fabric of reality. We live in an endlessly generous, wildly imaginative universe. It dreams us into being, and it will never stop dreaming us forward, offering us an infinite number of chances to step into our largest, most luminous lives. But we have to be willing to let go of our small stories, our limited ideas of who we are and what we're capable of. We have to be willing to surrender our tired agendas and make room for the unimaginable. We have to be willing to trust that there's a perfection unfolding, even in the midst of our deepest doubts and darkest nights. It's not always easy. The path is rarely linear, and it's full of plot twists we never saw coming. But that's the beauty of it. That's where the magic lies, in the mystery, in the not knowing, in the willingness to be astonished again and again. Because here's the thing, a life devoted to following divine breadcrumbs, to listening to the holy whispers of our inner knowing, is a life of unending adventure. It's a life of synchronicity and serendipity, a life where miracles become commonplace. We stop fixating on outcomes and start savoring the sacred unfolding. We understand that every moment, every encounter is infused with purpose and possibility. So what I invite you to do, what I remind myself to do every single day, is to let go of the white-knuckled grip on your plans. Surrender your striving, your insistence that things unfold a certain way. Trust that your heart knows the way, even if your head feels lost at sea. Listen to the wise whispers within you, the ones that might not make sense to your rational mind, but that resonate in the depths of your being. Be willing to follow those whispers, to take leaps of faith into the unknown, cultivate a sense of curiosity and openness, a willingness to be delighted and amazed. Know that your soul has a plan so much grander than your small self can conceive. It will take you on adventures beyond your wildest dreams, guide you to people and places and experiences that will crack you open to the beauty and brokenness and breathtaking wonder of it all. It won't always be comfortable. In fact, some of the greatest blessings initially arrive disguised as disappointments, even devastations. The job you didn't get, the relationship that fell apart, the dream that died on the vine, these are all sacred initiations, holy portals to a life you couldn't have planned for, but that will bring you to your knees with gratitude. Because that's the ultimate promise of a life lived in alignment with your deeper knowing of gratitude beyond measure, a sense of awe at the stunning perfection of it all. Even the hard stuff, even the hard taxes and the failures and the false starts, all of it revealed as a necessary part of the journey, a catalyst for your becoming. You start to understand that you simply couldn't have written a better story, couldn't have dreamed up the magic that wants to manifest in and through and as your life. You see how the universe has been conspiring in your favor all along, even in the moments you felt lost and alone. And from that place of holy seeing, that place of radical trust and surrender, miracles become your default setting. Serendipity and synchronicity become your constant companions. You find yourself living a life beyond your wildest dreams, pinching yourself daily at the sheer improbable perfection of it all. So don't settle for the small story your ego wants to tell. Don't limit yourself to the confines of your carefully crafted plans. Your soul has a bigger dream for you, a more beautiful vision than you can possibly imagine. Your job is simply to listen, to attune to the inner wisdom that is always guiding you, to trust in the intelligent unfolding of your life, to let go of your agenda and open to the agenda that is already encoded within you, the sacred purpose planted in your cells before you drew your first breath. There will be plot twists you never saw coming, sudden reversals that leave you reeling. But it's all part of the divine design, all part of the perfection. It's all leading you somewhere so much brighter and more beautiful than you ever could have planned. So surrender, sweet friend. Let go. Listen to the wisdom within you, the wisdom that knows the way. Trust that there are no wrong turns, no wasted time, no mistakes in this sacred dance of unfolding. You are held. You are loved. You are being guided and guarded every single step of the way. And the story your soul wants to live through you is more magnificent than your wildest imaginings. All you have to do is say yes. Again and again and again, say yes. Yes to the mystery, yes to the adventure, yes to the adventure, yes to the not knowing. Yes to the holy invitations and the unexpected graces. Yes to the beauty and the brokenness and the breathtaking wonder of it all. Because when you finally let go of the script you thought you needed and open to the one that's already written on your bones, miracles start to happen. The universe rushes in to meet you, to offer you its most luminous possibilities. You find yourself living a life beyond your wildest dreams, marveling daily at the magic and the mystery of it all. And you realize that this is how it was always meant to be. This is the life you were always destined for. Your only job is to trust, to surrender, to listen to the wise whispers within you and follow their sacred lead. The rest is grace, the rest is a gift. The rest is a love story beyond your wildest imaginings, just waiting for you to say yes. So say yes, sweet friend, say yes with your whole heart and your whole being. Let go of your limited ideas and open to the limitless possibilities that are waiting for you. Trust the magic. Trust the mystery. Trust the perfection of your unfolding path, because it will lead you somewhere so much brighter and more beautiful than you ever could have dreamed. It will lead you to a life of miracles and marvels, a life of synchronicity and serendipity, a life where every moment is infused with meaning and every encounter is a holy invitation. It will lead you to yourself, your truest, most luminous self, the self that knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is held and loved and guided every single step of the way. And from that place of deep knowing, that place of unshakable trust, anything becomes possible. Miracles become your birthright. Magic becomes your way of life. Let me tell you a story from my own life that illustrates this truth. Years ago, I was convinced that I was meant to be a lawyer. I had it all mapped out, the prestigious law school I would attend, the high-powered firm I would join, the corner office I would eventually occupy. I poured all my time and energy into this vision, studying for the LSAT, crafting the perfect application essays, networking with anyone and everyone who could help me achieve my goal. But then something unexpected happened. I didn't get into my dream law school. In fact, I didn't get into any law school at all. I was devastated, convinced that my entire future had just gone up in smoke. I couldn't understand why the universe had let me down, why all my hard work and determination hadn't been enough. For months, I wallowed in self-pity and disappointment. I felt lost, directionless, like a failure. But slowly, as I began to pick up the pieces of my shattered dreams, a new possibility emerged. A friend suggested that I consider a career in writing and speaking, sharing the insights and wisdom I'd gained through my own spiritual journey. At first, I balked at the idea. It seemed so far from the path I'd imagined for myself, the path I'd invested so much in. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized that this new direction resonated with me in a way that law never had. It felt aligned with my deepest values and desires, like a calling I hadn't even known I had. So I took a leap of faith. I let go of my rigid attachment to my old plans and opened myself to this new unexpected path. And you know what? It led me to a level of fulfillment and impact beyond anything I could have imagined. I found myself connecting with people in profound ways, offering hope and healing through my words and presence. I discovered a sense of purpose and passion that I had never experienced in all my years of chasing my legal dreams. Looking back, I see how that perceived failure, that crushing disappointment, was actually a divine redirection. It was the universe's way of guiding me toward my true calling, toward the work I was meant to do in the world. If I had stubbornly clung to my original plan, if I had been unwilling to release my grip on what I thought I wanted, I would have missed out on the extraordinary gifts that were waiting for me. And this is what I want to invite you to consider. What if the disappointments and detours in your own life are actually sacred course corrections? What if the universe is trying to guide you towards something infinitely more fulfilling than what you've been fixated on? What if your soul has a bigger dream for you than the one you've been clinging to? I know it can be scary to let go of what we think we need, to surrender our carefully crafted plans and open ourselves to the unknown. The ego clings so tightly to its agendas, convinced that it knows best. But the truth is, our limited minds can only see a tiny sliver of the big picture. We have no idea what miracles and marvels are waiting for us on the other side of our surrender. So what if, instead of resisting the plot twists and unexpected turns in our lives, we chose to trust them? What if we decided to view every seeming setback as a setup for something greater, every closed door as a redirection toward an even more beautiful possibility? This doesn't mean that we shouldn't make plans or set goals. Those can be valuable tools for focusing our energy and intentions. But it does mean holding those plans lightly with an open hand, knowing that there might be an even better plan unfolding behind the scenes. It means cultivating a deep and abiding trust in the journey of our lives, a willingness to surrender our limited agendas and embrace the limitless possibilities that are waiting for us. It means attuning to the deeper wisdom within us, the inner guidance that is always leading us toward our highest good, even when it doesn't make sense to our rational minds. This kind of radical trust isn't always easy, especially in the face of disappointment and uncertainty. It requires a willingness to let go of control, to leap into the unknown, to follow the unexpected paths that life lays out for us. But in my experience, it's always worth it. Every single time I've been willing to release my grip on my small plans and surrender to a higher wisdom, magic has happened. Miracles have unfolded. Possibilities beyond my wildest dreams have emerged. And slowly I've come to understand that this is how life is meant to be lived, not from a place of fear and control, but from a place of openness and trust. Not from a place of rigid attachment to specific outcomes, but from a place of curiosity and wonder, a willingness to be surprised and delighted by what unfolds. Because the truth is, the universe is always conspiring in our favor, always guiding us toward the lives we were meant to live. Even when it doesn't look like it on the surface, even when things feel hard or confusing or downright painful, there is a deeper perfection unfolding. Our job is simply to attune to that perfection, to listen for the wise whispers of our inner knowing and follow their sacred lead. To trust that every piece of the puzzle, every twist and turn in the road, is an essential part of the beautiful tapestry of our lives. And the more we're able to do this, the more we're able to release our resistance and embrace the journey, the more magic starts to happen. Synchronicities unfold. Doors open that we never even knew existed. We find ourselves living lives beyond our wildest dreams, marveling at the wonder and beauty of it all. So if you find yourself in a place of disappointment or uncertainty, if your carefully laid plans seem to be falling apart, I invite you to consider the possibility that something even better is trying to emerge. I invite you to let go of your attachment to specific outcomes and open yourself to the miraculous possibilities that are waiting for you. Trust the journey, even and especially when it doesn't look like what you thought it would. Surrender your agenda and embrace the one that is already written on your bones. Listen to the deeper wisdom within you and let it guide you forward. Because a life lived in alignment with your true calling, a life devoted to following the sacred breadcrumbs of your soul, is a life of magic and miracles beyond your wildest imaginings. It's a life of synchronicity and grace, of purpose and passion and unimaginable fulfillment. And it's waiting for you just on the other side of your surrender. Just on the other side of your willingness to let go and trust the perfection of your unfolding path. So take a deep breath, sweet friend. Relax your grip. Open your hands and your heart to the beauty that wants to blossom in your life. And then watch and wonder as the universe conspires to bring you more joy and abundance than you ever dreamed possible. Watch in awe as your true path reveals itself step by luminous step. It might not look like what you expected. It might not unfold according to your carefully crafted plans, but I promise you this, it will be more magnificent than anything you could have imagined. Because that's the magic of a life lived in surrender, a life devoted to following the sacred guidance within. It's a life of unending beauty and grace, a life of miracles and marvels beyond your wildest dreams. And it's yours for the taking the moment you're willing to let go and trust. The moment you're willing to embrace the extraordinary adventure your soul came here to live. So say yes, sweet friend. Say yes to the mystery and the magic. Say yes to the unexpected twists and turns. Say yes to the life that is waiting for you, the one that is more beautiful than anything you could have planned for yourself. Let go of what you thought you needed and open to what is already yours by divine right. Trust the perfection of your unfolding path, even and especially when it surprises you. And let yourself be swept away by the wonder and beauty of a life beyond your wildest dreams. Let yourself be carried by the current of grace that is always leading you home. Because that's where your true fulfillment lies, not in some distant, imagined future, but right here, right now, in the sacred unfolding of your most authentic life. In the willingness to trust the journey and embrace the miracle of your becoming. So take a deep breath and take the leap. Let go of your limited plans and open to the limitless possibilities that are waiting for you. The universe has your back, and it has a plan for you that is grander and more beautiful than anything you could have imagined. All you have to do is trust. All you have to do is say yes. And then watch and wonder as your wildest dreams come true in ways you never could have planned for yourself. This is the magic of a life lived in surrender. This is the miracle of following your soul's sacred path. And it's waiting for you just on the other side of your next brave leap. So leap, sweet friend. Leap into the unknown, into the unimaginable beauty that is waiting for you. Your wings are ready. Your heart is ready. The life you were born for is ready. All you have to do is trust the journey and watch and wonder as the miracles unfold. I know it might seem hard to fathom, especially if you're in a place of disappointment or uncertainty right now, but I promise you with every fiber of my being that the universe has not forgotten you. It has not abandoned you. It is conspiring in your favor, even now, weaving together the threads of your story in ways you cannot yet see. Every challenge, every setback, every heartache, it's all part of the divine design. It's all leading you somewhere beautiful, somewhere sacred, somewhere beyond your wildest imaginings. You might not be able to see it yet. You might feel lost or confused or overwhelmed. But deep within you, there is a knowing, a quiet, unshakable certainty that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Learn to listen to that voice. Learn to trust its wisdom, even when it doesn't make sense to your logical mind, because that voice, that inner guidance, is your true north. It's the compass that will lead you home to yourself, no matter how far off course you may feel. And as you start to follow that guidance, as you start to take brave leaps in the direction of your dreams, the universe will meet you with miracles. It will conspire to support you in ways beyond your wildest imaginings. Doors will open. Synchronicities will unfold. The right people and opportunities will show up at exactly the right moment. You'll look back on the twists and turns of your journey and marvel at the perfection of it all. You'll see how every piece, every challenge, every unexpected detour was leading you to this moment, to this life, to this version of yourself that you could never have planned for, but that is more magnificent than your wildest dreams. Because that's the magic of surrender. That's the miracle of trust. When you're willing to let go of your limited plans and embrace the limitless possibilities of the universe, everything becomes possible. Miracles become your default setting. Grace becomes your constant companion. You start to live a life beyond your wildest dreams, not because you figured it all out, but because you were willing to let yourself be guided. You were willing to trust the wisdom of your soul, the perfection of your unfolding path. My friends, I want to talk to you today about a topic that can truly transform your life in profound ways, the power of silence. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Silence, really? In a world that's constantly buzzing with noise and chatter, how can being quiet possibly make a difference? Well, I'm here to tell you that learning when to hold your tongue can be one of the greatest skills you can ever develop. You see, throughout our lives, we encounter countless situations that test our patience, challenge our beliefs, and provoke us to speak our minds. But what if I told you that in many of these moments, the wisest course of action is to simply remain silent? It may sound counterintuitive, but trust me when I say that choosing not to speak can often speak volumes. Picture this: you're at work and a colleague makes a snide comment about your latest project. Your blood starts to boil and you can feel a scathing retort rising in your throat. But then something stops you. A small voice inside whispers, "Hold on, take a breath. Is this really worth your energy?" And so you swallow your words and let the moment pass. Later, you find out that your colleague was going through a tough time personally and lashed out unintentionally. By choosing not to engage, you avoided a potential conflict and showed compassion instead. Or maybe you're scrolling through social media and you come across a post that really grinds your gears. You start typing out a heated response, ready to give that person a piece of your mind. But then you hesitate. You realize that arguing with a stranger online is unlikely to change their perspective, and it might just leave you feeling drained and frustrated. So you delete your comment and move on, preserving your peace of mind. These are just a couple of examples, but the truth is there are countless situations in life where silence can be your greatest ally. When you're tempted to gossip about someone behind their back, bite your tongue. When you're in the middle of a heated argument with your partner, take a step back and give yourself a moment to cool down before speaking. When you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious, turn off the noise around you and sit in quiet contemplation. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but if I don't speak up, won't people think I'm weak or passive? And to that, I say absolutely not. In fact, it takes incredible strength and self-control to hold your tongue when every fiber of your being is urging you to lash out. It's a sign of maturity, wisdom, and emotional intelligence. Think about some of the most influential figures throughout history, people like Mahatma Gandhi, Rosa Parks, and Nelson Mandela. These individuals all understood the power of silence. They knew that sometimes the most profound statements are made without uttering a single word. By remaining calm and composed in the face of adversity, they were able to make a lasting impact on the world. Of course, this isn't to say that you should always stay silent. There are certainly times when speaking up is necessary and important, especially when it comes to standing up for what's right or advocating for those who can't advocate for themselves. But the key is to learn how to discern when your words will truly make a difference, and when it's better to hold your peace. So how can you start incorporating more silence into your own life? Well, the first step is to practice mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts and emotions and learn to observe them without getting caught up in them. When you feel the urge to speak, take a moment to ask yourself, is this something that really needs to be said? Will my words improve the situation, or could they potentially make things worse? Another helpful strategy is to cultivate a sense of inner peace and calm. This might mean practicing meditation, deep breathing exercises, or simply taking a few minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection. The more centered and grounded you feel within yourself, the easier it will be to stay composed and clear-headed in challenging situations. It's also important to remember that silence doesn't always mean disengagement or indifference. Sometimes the most powerful way to show someone you care is simply by being present with them, listening attentively, and offering a compassionate ear. In a world that's so often filled with noise and chatter, the gift of your undivided attention can be incredibly meaningful. Now, I know that cultivating silence isn't always easy. We live in a society that often equates being vocal with being powerful, and it can be tempting to want to make our voices heard at every turn. But the truth is, there's a deep strength and wisdom in knowing when to hold your tongue. It's a skill that can help you navigate even the most challenging situations with grace and poise. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're tempted to speak up, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this something that truly needs to be said? Could my words potentially cause harm or escalate the situation? Or might it be better to simply take a step back and observe? Remember, silence is not weakness. It's not passivity or indifference. Rather, it's a powerful tool that can help you cultivate inner peace, build stronger relationships, and navigate life's challenges with greater ease and clarity. In a world that's so often filled with noise and chaos, the ability to find stillness and quiet within yourself is a true gift. It allows you to tap into a deeper sense of wisdom and intuition, and to approach life with a greater sense of purpose and intentionality. So, my friends, I encourage you to start embracing silence in your own lives. Start small, if you need to. Take a few minutes each day to sit in quiet reflection, or challenge yourself to hold your tongue in a situation where you might normally speak up. Pay attention to how it feels and notice any shifts or changes in your perspective. Over time, you may find that cultivating silence becomes easier and more natural. You may start to feel a greater sense of inner peace and clarity, and you may find that your relationships and interactions with others begin to improve as well. Remember, the power of silence isn't about suppressing your voice or denying your truth. Rather, it's about learning to use your words wisely and intentionally, and about cultivating a deep sense of inner stillness that can guide you through even the most turbulent of times. So let's dive a little deeper into each of these situations where silence can be so transformative. First, let's talk about those moments when you're faced with criticism or negative feedback. It's natural to feel defensive in these situations, to want to justify yourself or prove the other person wrong. But more often than not, responding reactively only escalates the tension and makes the situation worse. Instead, try taking a deep breath and giving yourself a moment to pause before responding. Use that silence to really listen to what the other person is saying without judgment or interruption. Try to understand where they're coming from, even if you don't necessarily agree with their perspective. By holding your tongue and creating that space for listening and reflection, you give yourself the opportunity to respond from a place of greater clarity and wisdom. You may find that the criticism isn't as personal as you initially thought, or that there's actually some truth to what the other person is saying that you can learn and grow from. And even if the feedback is entirely unfounded or mean-spirited, by choosing not to engage reactively, you maintain your own sense of dignity and self-respect. You communicate through your silence that you refuse to be pulled down to the level of pettiness or negativity. Next, let's consider those moments when you're tempted to gossip or speak badly about someone behind their back. It can be so tempting to join in when others are sharing juicy stories or complaints, to feel like you're part of the in-group by participating in the chatter. But gossip is a dangerous game, one that can quickly spiral out of control and cause real harm to the person being talked about. Even if you don't mean any malice, your words can take on a life of their own and create ripple effects that you never intended. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where gossip is being shared, try choosing silence instead. You don't have to necessarily confront the people speaking or make a big show of your disapproval. Simply excuse yourself from the conversation or change the subject to something more positive. By refusing to participate in negative talk, you send a powerful message about your own values and integrity. You communicate that you won't be a part of tearing others down, even in subtle ways. And who knows? Your silence may just inspire others to reconsider their own words and actions. Another situation where silence can be incredibly powerful is when you're in the midst of a heated argument or disagreement. It's so easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, to feel like you need to prove your point or defend your position at all costs. But more often than not, arguing rarely leads to any kind of productive resolution. It just leads to more anger, more hurt feelings, and more entrenched positions on both sides. Instead, try taking a step back and giving yourself some space to cool down before engaging further. Use that silence to really reflect on what's being said and to consider the other person's perspective with an open mind. You may find that when you approach the conversation from a place of greater calm and clarity, you're able to communicate your own needs and opinions more effectively. You may also be more receptive to finding a compromise or solution that works for everyone involved. Of course, this isn't to say that you should always back down or avoid conflict altogether. There are certainly times when it's important to stand your ground and advocate for yourself or others. But by choosing your battles wisely and approaching disagreements with a spirit of openness and compassion, you'll be much more likely to find a resolution that truly serves everyone's best interests. Another powerful way that silence can transform your life is by helping you cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace and self-awareness. In a world that's constantly buzzing with noise and stimulation, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of activity and lose touch with your own inner voice. By carving out time each day for silent reflection or meditation, you give yourself the opportunity to tune out the external chatter and tune into your own thoughts and feelings. You create a sacred space where you can simply be present with yourself without judgment or expectation. At first, this practice may feel uncomfortable or even boring. Your mind may wander or resist the stillness, but over time, as you continue to show up for yourself in this way, you'll start to notice subtle shifts in your awareness and perspective. You may find that you're able to observe your own thoughts and emotions with greater clarity and detachment rather than getting caught up in them. You may start to feel a deeper sense of connection to your own inner wisdom and intuition, and a greater trust in your ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. This inner stillness can be a powerful anchor in times of stress or uncertainty, a reminder that no matter what's happening in the external world, you always have a place of calm and stability within yourself to return to. And as you continue to cultivate this practice of silent reflection, you may find that it starts to ripple out into other areas of your life as well. You may become more patient and present in your relationships, more focused and intentional in your work, more attuned to the beauty and wonder of the world around you. In fact, some of the greatest creative minds throughout history have relied on silence as a tool for tapping into their own inner genius. Artists, writers, and innovators like Pablo Picasso, Virginia Woolf, and Albert Einstein all spoke about the importance of solitude and quiet contemplation in their creative process. By giving yourself the gift of silence, you open yourself up to new possibilities and insights that may have been drowned out by the noise of daily life. You create the space for your own unique voice and vision to emerge, unencumbered by the expectations or opinions of others. Of course, cultivating silence isn't always easy, especially in a world that's so often geared towards constant stimulation and distraction. It can be tempting to fill every moment with noise and activity, to seek out external validation and approval at every turn. But the more you're able to resist those temptations and carve out even small moments of silence for yourself, the more you'll start to reap the benefits in your own life. You'll find that you're able to approach challenges with greater clarity and resilience, to communicate more effectively and compassionately with others, to tap into your own inner wisdom and creativity. And perhaps most importantly, you'll start to feel a greater sense of peace and contentment within yourself, a deeper knowing that you have everything you need within you to navigate whatever life may bring. So my friends, I encourage you to start experimenting with silence in your own lives in whatever way feels authentic and meaningful to you. Maybe it's taking a few minutes each morning to sit in quiet meditation, or going for a silent walk in nature, or simply pausing before responding in a conversation to really listen and reflect. Pay attention to how it feels to create those moments of stillness for yourself, and notice any shifts or changes in your perspective or experience. And if you find yourself resisting or struggling with the practice, be gentle and compassionate with yourself. Remember that, like any skill, cultivating silence takes time and patience to develop. But I promise you, the rewards are well worth the effort. By learning to embrace silence in your own life, you open yourself up to a whole new world of possibility and potential. You tap into a deeper sense of wisdom, creativity, and resilience that can guide you through even the most challenging of times. And perhaps most importantly, you send a powerful message to yourself and others about the value of taking time to pause, reflect, and simply be present in the moment. In a world that's so often focused on doing and achieving, the act of being silent can be a radical and transformative choice. So let us all commit to creating a little more space for silence in our lives, to listening more deeply to ourselves and others, to honoring the wisdom and creativity that lies within each of us. Let us be the change we wish to see in the world, one moment of stillness at a time. And as we navigate this path together, let us remember the words of the great spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle, who said, "Silence is the language of God, all else is poor translation." May we all learn to speak that language more fluently, and may it bring us closer to the truth of who we really are. In the end, the power of silence is not about withdrawing from the world or shutting ourselves off from others. Rather, it's about creating the space within ourselves to show up more fully and authentically in all that we do. By cultivating a practice of silence, we develop a greater capacity for compassion, both for ourselves and others. We learn to listen more deeply, to communicate more clearly, to navigate challenges with greater ease and grace. And as we begin to embody these qualities more fully, we naturally start to have a more positive impact on the world around us. We become a force for healing and transformation simply by being more present and attuned to the needs of the moment. So, my friends, I invite you to join me on this journey of discovering the power of silence. Let us be the ones who are willing to pause, to listen, to reflect, even in a world that's constantly urging us to do more and be more. Let us be the ones who have the courage to be still, to trust in the wisdom that lies within, to honor the sacred space of silence that connects us all. And let us remember that in every moment we have the choice to either react to the noise and chaos around us, or to respond from a place of inner calm and clarity. May we always choose the latter, and may we inspire others to do the same. As we move forward on this path together, let us hold fast to the knowing that silence is not a weakness but a strength. It is not an absence but a fullness. It is not a void but a source of infinite possibility and potential. And may we always remember that the greatest transformations often begin in the quietest of moments, when we're willing to simply be present with ourselves and with life exactly as it is. So thank you for being here, for showing up for yourself and for the world in this way. May your practice of silence be a source of deep nourishment and renewal, and may it bring you ever closer to the truth of who you really are. Together, let us embrace the power of silence, and let us use it to create a world that is more compassionate, more connected, and more truly alive. Thank you.